Hi everybody, today we're going to look at something really cool, and it's really cool for a couple of different reasons, which I will lay out in this video. Number one, this is a Porsche 924 1/24th scale diecast made by, I know I'm going to butcher the name here, Bbrago or Bbrago. It's Italian! When I ordered this on eBay, the only one I could actually find that was affordable, and affordable, I mean this was 49, almost 50 euros, whatever the heck that is in, real American money. And why was it in euros, you may ask? Well, I mean, the car itself is made in Italy, but I purchased it from France. France, the home of French fries and French toast and, French ticklers. And being the expert shopper that I am on eBay, I saw this for 16.90 euros. And I said, that's a bargain. Everybody else wants a lot of money. But then after the shipping and handling was added in, that's how we ended up to that 49.90 euros. That's how they get you. But wait, there's more. The guy packed it up. He did a really good job. He wrapped it up in bubble wrap. He even included some little candies inside the car. It only took a week and a half to arrive all the way here to the west coast of the U.S. from France. Only I didn't know that at the time. Because even though all my eBaying, is that a word? eBaying is done on the computer machine, the Google machine, using my email, DHL was texting my phone saying, hey, dumbass, you need to pay the tariff on this before we can deliver it. And I saw that text maybe a week or so after they started texting me. It counts down. You have 1 week to respond. You have 4 days to respond. If you don't respond to this by today, we are sending it back to France. At first, I thought it was some kind of scam because it didn't actually say what it was for. It just was one of those things that said, DHL, enter your credit card here. You need to pay a tariff. So I finally looked it up, and it didn't have my name or my address or any of my information. It had that dude in France's email address and his French name there and his information. I mean, if that doesn't sound like some kind of international phishing scheme, what does? Then I did a little more research, and sure enough, it was legit, and I paid the $17 or $18 tariff I had to pay. And I only realized I had to pay a tariff on this item after I purchased it. eBay now has a little banner they have on the top that says, this is coming from an international place, you may have to pay a tariff. The banner was not above this when I purchased it, but that banner did appear a couple days after I purchased it. I don't think they were trying to scam me. In fact, I know they weren't trying to scam me. We just happened to be right in that window when they were phasing in the banners, letting people know, hey, this might cost more than you think it's going to cost. And that's fine, because this is an item that I cannot get in the good old US of A. And there's a reason for it. Let's talk about the vehicle itself. The Porsche 924 was the poor man's Porsche. Kind of like I used to have the poor man's BMW with that 320i. Yes, it looked cool. Yes, it said Porsche on it. But it essentially had a Volkswagen engine under the hood. And remember, we're talking about the real car here. So really, why was I interested in the poor man's Porsche? Because years ago, I was helping a friend of a friend clean up an old farm property. And on this property, they had one horse and a whole lot of fence repair to do. But they had 50 or 60 junked vehicles. And probably a dozen or so junked boats. A couple of the boats were actually good enough that we fixed them up for her and sold them. But the vehicles ranged anywhere from a skeleton of a vehicle to a vehicle that you just had to put a battery in it and some gas in it and you could drive away. And the list of vehicles ran the entire gamut, from vehicles from the 1940s and 50s all the way up to fairly modern stuff, late 1990s. I was using a weed whacker to take down a giant blackberry bush, and once I got inside of it, I realized that blackberry bush was growing on a Porsche 924. Not this exact Porsche 924. I believe it was white, but it was a 1982, just like this one, Porsche 924. A few years before this, I had helped a friend sell a Porsche 911, so I got to drive that one quite a bit. And yes, it was sporty and peppy, but eventually it becomes a pain because they're low riding, they're close to the ground, they got a great suspension, but you feel every bump in the road and you climb in and out of it. And when we sold that 911, we made a couple of bucks on it. So I find this 924 and I'm thinking, yes, I could take this 924, fix it up, and make a couple of bucks on it. I knew nothing about the 924s, and then I researched them and said, okay, never mind. They weren't known for quality, they weren't known for performance, they weren't known for value, and more importantly, they weren't known for resale value. The Porsche 924 with that Volkswagen motor in there is pretty much the same thing as those kit cars you used to get in the 70s and 80s, where it looked like a Ferrari or a Maserati, and it was a fiberglass body, and it was just put like on a Volkswagen frame. It had a crummy, usually Volkswagen Beetle engine that you would put in it. Yeah, so they looked super cool, and you'd come up to the line, and someone would be in some jacked up Chevelle next to you, and you say, hey, want to race? Because if you're driving some European sports car, everybody wants to race you. And you just look over at him and say, I'm not even going to waste my time with you. And he feels insulted, but he knows you to beat him anyways. Except you know you only had an air-cooled Volkswagen engine under the hood. So yeah, that's the same category that these 924s fit into. So really quick, back to this car. On the bottom it says Porsche 924 Turbo, made in Italy, in Bbrago, which is spelled B-B-U-R-A-G-O. The interior detail is so-so. Doors open, rear hatch and hood does not open. Mine does not have a steering wheel, but it does still have the gear shifter. And I don't care about that level of detail. Externally, there's a couple little scratches and signs of wear. That's fine. Sticker still on the front, or part of a sticker. Can still see the words Porsche on the side and on the front and rear. And remember, this was not meant for the American market, but the wheels are a super big disappointment. Yes, at first glance, it looks like they're running some kind of chrome Kragers on this car, which I couldn't tell you if this is accurate rims for this car or not. If I was a gambling man, which I often am, I would say these rims are not accurate. But the important failure is these tires are hard plastic. They're not even rubber tires. Other than that, it's a pretty cool looking car if you're a Porsche fan. The color, nothing to write home about. Yes, it has a certain amount of playability. And in all honesty, it's probably just as fun to play with this 1/24 scale toy as it is to drive a real 1982 Porsche 924 Turbo. All in all, I am happy enough with this purchase. It didn't matter what it cost because this is the only way I could get something like this. And it is a trip down memory lane for me. The same day I purchased this, I also purchased another of these. That one only cost me $20 in total. They wanted $9.99 for it. The other $10 was shipping and handling. It came from the good old US of A. And it was also a Bbrago Porsche 924 Turbo. But it was the race car edition, so it says SO number 94 on it. And it is beat to heck. It is scratched. The paint is nearly all gone. And it doesn't have any glass in it, if I recall. I'll make a video about that one when I get a chance. The eBay seller had a good picture of it, so I knew exactly what I was buying. It was listed as vintage toy car, Bbrago 9105, Porsche 924 Turbo, SO number 94, really used, but runs good. And yeah, it really is used. And the reason I purchased both of these 924s is because this is what a 924 should look like. And this other one is what the 924 that I had for that short period of time actually looked like. I mean, minus all the racing stuff on the outside of it. But it was white, and it looked a lot like this. But I believe the glass was actually intact. All right, what do you think? Do you know anything about Porsches? Are you a Porsche fan? Does it drive you nuts when somebody calls it a Porsche? It drives me nuts. All right, leave your comments in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching.
Beanmeister 22, the most dangerous man on YouTube.